Hello, my name is Voya and welcome to My Deep Guide, and in today's video we are checking out the Note Air 3, the latest monochromatic device from Boox. This is not going to be my traditional in-depth review, and the reason for that is that this is basically a blend between the devices that I've already reviewed in substantial depth, and mainly it's like a blend between the Note Air 2 Plus, for which you can find the in-depth review here that you can watch afterwards or before, I don't know, whatever. And also the blend between the Note Air 3C. Again, you can find the review video here. And yeah, it's so many of the things are exactly the same, identical device in many ways. So in this video, I wanted to kind of focus on primary core differences and what are the most important aspects of this device that people are going to be interested in, that are unique to it and specific to it. And for everything else that is not covered in this video and is not going to be covered in this video, because I can't continue doing the same thing over and over again when it's already been done, please do refer to the Note Air 2 Plus review and the Note Air 3C review, and then you will have a very complete overview. On this one, I'm actually just going to focus on general specifications, overview, price, layout, and the test results of writing, battery, and all of that kind of stuff, and then I'm just gonna wrap it up. So let's start. Alright, and here it is. This is the Note Air 3. It's the exact same packaging that we had of the Note Air 3C. So just a first quick overview of what it is. This is an Android 12 10.3-inch e-ink screen powered device. It has a full-on Android 12 with a Google enabled Play Store, so you can use it like a normal Android tablet. However, it does have that 10.3-inch e-ink screen, which is definitely a different type of thing. And if you're not familiar with what e-ink screens are, well, they are ultimately a paper-like type of screens, e-paper screens. And they're the idea behind an e-ink screen is to simulate paper-like reading and writing experience, and not to try and emulate or compete with the OLED or IPS panels that we have on other devices. So they're two completely different things. As a consequence, it is always a lot slower, and it will also have a little bit of ghosting or remnants of ghosting images from before that needs to be manually refreshed, or the system will refresh it. And in this case, this is a monochromatic device. Another difference is that it does not have a backlight, but it does have a front light, which works perfectly fine. So that's the overall check of what the Note Air 3 is. The specifications remain the same, exactly the same like they are on the Note Air 3C. So that means the octa-core 2.4 GHz CPU with 4 GB of RAM, 64 GB of storage. We have expandable micro SD card slot here, which supports up to 2 TB of NTFS formatted micro SD cards. We got stereo speakers on the side. We got stereo microphone here. We got a USB-C for charger and OTG functionalities. We have a power button that doubles as a fingerprint reader as well. This one here is an LED, status LED here. Nothing on one side, nothing on the other side, and only here you will have a small image that's an indication of where the magnetic pen is supposed to kind of go, so that it's held there. It's not held really well in place. I mean, it's just gonna stay there, but if you transporting the device, you really want to put that pen somewhere more secure, because it's going to get detached from the device for sure, unless you keep it in the cover, which then has the flap cover, which covers it and holds the pen nicely in place. The overall design of the device is really beautiful. I'm a fan of the Note Air 3 design, and this is third year of its design, and it's a really nice way how it's actually done. The manufacturing and the execution of the design is actually really beautiful. There are no faults, there's nothing sticking out anywhere, and it's just absolutely gorgeously manufactured, and the build quality is spectacularly good. On the front we have the glass panel on top, and all of this is a unibody aluminum alloy type of affair, which is really cool, and it's strengthened by using their resin technology, so that it actually strengthens it and it doesn't really bend or do anything. The screen on top has a yeah, kind of scratchy laminated screen protector that's pre-applied, so you can't take it off, and and you don't need an additional screen protector. It's there to kind of, yeah, it's a complete package all in all. So yeah, you just unpack it from the box and you start using it, and you have everything that you need. As I said, I'm not going to get into too many details about this one. You get the standard Boox pen here, which is fine. I mean, it doesn't have an eraser, it doesn't have a button, and uses standard soft felt nibs, which is okay. Build quality is good, and it has improved over the years. It has a magnet to kind of magnetically snap there, and it's okay, but for an extended kind of use, it can get my fingertips to get a little bit kind of numb, so that's why it's not really my preference, but overall it's a great pen that you get with the package. I mean, there's nothing terribly wrong with it. You can definitely get quite a lot of mileage out of it before you actually determine like what it is that your preferences are, and then you can shop around for a different pen. The device itself functions as you would expect it to, so everything works as I would yeah, expect this one to be. So this is the slowness that I was talking about, and as I said, I am not going to go into all of these details because this type of performance is pretty much exactly the same stuff that you're going to see on the Note Air 2 and the Note Air 2 Plus, except the Note Air 3 is going to be actually a little bit better, a little bit faster, a little bit cleaner as far as ghosting goes, and all of that kind of stuff. Just as a general quick checkup, I'm just going to go and open up a couple of documents so that you can actually see how all of this works. And so if I open up a document like this, which has a lot of graphics and text here, there's tons of functionalities that you can do, and again, reference to those videos, because I'm not going to be diving into functionalities here. All of that has been covered a gazillion times. I really don't need to do it again. So yeah, if you're interested in those, check those videos. They show quite a lot of stuff there. But as far as the screen quality and performance goes, this is the stuff that is different on the Note Air 3 as opposed to Note Air 2 Plus and the Note Air 2. And this is how it looks like. So for me, it's perfectly normal. Excellent ghosting performance. We don't really see any ghosting here in the normal refresh mode. So if I go to screen refresh settings, this, and turn it into speed mode, then we have a tiny bit of image degradation, but we also get a huge speed up in responsiveness and everything like that. So this little pause after a while, that's a full screen refresh that you can set up that the device doesn't do it so often. And actually I don't think that you need it, because the ghosting performance is excellent even in the speed mode, which is really nice. And for example, let's just format this that we fit the width so that we can see it a little bit better. There we go. So that's all nice and full. Let's no, I don't want to pinch to zoom. I actually want to fit screen, not fit width. There we go. That's better. Yeah, there's absolutely nothing wrong with this performance whatsoever, and if anything, it's performing better than what I actually expected. So yeah, that's how it handles a regular text file. Okay, so now I'm just gonna switch it back into normal refresh mode so that we have this, and I'm just gonna find, there we go, that's an example to zoom in so that you can see what the image quality is like. So there is the zoom level so that you can see the bold text, and we have the normal text with a little bit of numbers here and there and a little bit of an icon here to see how that looks like. I'm thinking it looks all totally fine. This is the size reference here, and I think that I can zoom in a little bit more so that you can see this is the maximum zoom that I can do, so that you can see the quality of the display here. Let's show some graphs, how it handles them, and the italics as well. So overall for me, I think it has excellent display quality, very good clarity, and combined with the super awesome flexibility of settings that you have for contrast and things like that, you really can't go wrong with the Neo Reader. And yeah, as a reader platform, it's absolutely fantastic. All right, and here we are gonna try and, no, I'm not gonna do OCR, but what I am going to do is I am going to go into contrast and turn on image smoothing so that we, so that we get rid of the color banding, so that we have some color dithering. And then you can actually see how this looks like. Okay, so we do have ghosting. So in these images, this is the type of document that will expose ghosting issues, right? So this, and if I go back, it should remain, actually it's really good. This is actually really, really good for regular type of refreshing here. And the performance is really good. A very, very clear type to read, and it's very pleasant to read. And it's actually a very pleasant image quality as well. How nicer it is to have a monochromatic screen with that brighter whites and more range basically than what we have on the Kaleido panels with the passive matrix that makes it darker and all that kind of stuff. The front light just simply cannot compensate for that, and yeah, this is a really good example of that. So okay, we have this. Let's refresh. So we have a clean image here, and let's zoom in so that you can see in this complex section how it can handle all of that, because if we have multi-layering and all of that kind of stuff, and I can see that everything is perfectly readable, very legible and easy to read. Even this one, white on transparent black background with everything in behind, nothing gets messy, nothing gets kind of yucky, and it's just really easy to read. And much more importantly, it's really pleasant to watch. I mean, this is just a really pleasant image to see. It's one of the benefits of an e-ink screen is that it looks like a picture, right? So, and Note Air 3 absolutely delivers. So really good image quality. Would it benefit from a 300 ppi? Yeah, it would definitely be a little bit sharper, but is 227 ppi bad? No, absolutely not. It's been a standard for years, so it's nothing really that bad about it. Okay, so here's the important one, the battery life on the Note Air 3. So last year we had pretty much almost every single new device that came out from Boox had the BSR technology, which is a huge power hog, and as of today there's no way to bypass it, which really boggles the mind that you don't have a dedicated refresh mode that would simply bypass that power hog. But as an end result, one of the main benefits of an e-ink device was completely nullified. Now that is not the case here with the Note Air 3 general, just Note Air 3, because it is not equipped with the BSR. So that means that we should see excellent battery results, and that is exactly what we do have. Actually, because this one is equipped with the more modern internals, so it's more powerful, faster, and more battery efficient than its predecessor. So Note Air 2 Plus or the Note Air 2. So the test results, and the test that I do is I let the device auto flip pages every 20 seconds for 1 hour in 3 different modes, with the front light set at 100%, front light set in this case at 30% because it's a monochromatic device, and then front light set at 0%. And the results of that are that with the front light set at 100%, Note Air 3 was averaging at around 5% per hour, which means that even at the front light all the way to the maximum, and Wi-Fi is on all of them, it would still get like 20 hours of continuous page flipping per charge, which is really good. When you actually lower that front light down to 30%, then we have 1.5% roughly per hour, which is at around 66 hours per charge, which is excellent. We're talking about now over a week, like weeks of usage. And then if you turn that front light all the way off, it spends less than 1% per hour of battery time, which means that you get over 100 hours per charge of continuous reading time without a front light on a Note Air 3. Now that's what an e-ink device is supposed to deliver. When we get into the writing test, it's the similar type of test, except that this time I'm writing continuously for 1 hour, and then I measure the battery. And I write in two conditions here, with a front light at 30% and a front light off. So with the front light at 30%, Note Air 3 was averaging 8% of, spending 8% of battery life per hour, which averages out to around 12.5 hours of continuous writing time per charge. And when you turn the front light all the way off, then it was averaging, spending at around 6% of battery life per hour, or averaging at around 16.67 hours of continuous writing time per charge. And again, these are absolutely excellent battery consumption results. In the terms of writing experience, first I'm going to be covering the writing latency, and there's something to talk about here. So normally I run my D.E.S.T.A and yeah, I get the result. Here I was actually surprised, because when I write on the Note Air 3, it feels, when I'm writing, a little bit sluggish. And I believe that in my unboxing I said that it's probably going to be around 40 millisecond kind of range, which is where the old ones were, like the Note Air 2 and Note Air 2 Plus. But that was not the case, actually. When I measured it, it actually measures out with the writing latency at 28.78, which is great. That's a really, really good number. So it's not excellent, it's very good, and it's definitely not sluggish. But there's one thing that I noticed, which I believe is a software error, and that is that it's writing consistently, then it has a pause, and then it continues writing, and then it has a pause. And this was absolutely 100% consistent in every single test that I did and repeated. And since that is completely invisible to the naked eye, that actually leads me to believe that the sluggishness that I perceived was actually that inconsistency, that it writes and then stops, and then writes and then stops, and writes and then stops. I've never seen a single other device that actually behaves that way, and to me this looks like a software issue. Hopefully that's something that they will fix rather soon, so that then, and if they do, then you should have that sluggishness kind of impression go completely away. However, there's a caveat here. That sluggishness impression comes from me actually using the Note Air 3C, which is the fastest device, and the SuperNote A6X now for well over a month. I mean, the Note Air 3C, I'm using it now for several months, and these are the two of the fastest writing latency devices that we currently have on the market. So my perception has also changed. And then I noticed when I was doing the writing battery tests that it started with my perception of, oh, this is a little sluggish. And then as I went through the time and hours of writing, I grew accustomed to it, and then it no longer felt sluggish. I could still see maybe trailing a little bit, but it didn't feel sluggish, it felt normal. So I think that's also something to definitely keep in mind. As far as the surface to screen distance goes, I was hoping that they have employed that thin glass that they have used on the Note Air 3C as well. But it appears that that's not the case, because we have the surface to screen distance is at 1.1 millimeters, which is the standard that we've seen on all of the older Boox devices. So it's the same surface to screen distance that you would see on the Note Air 2 Plus and the Note Air 2 as well. And the screen roughness and the structure is exactly the same like it is on the Note Air 3C. So there's no real surprise to see that the surface resistance on the Note Air 3 is pretty much virtually identical as the one that I measured on the Note Air 3C as well. Overall, writing experience, I think combined is very, very good to excellent. I would rate it as B+. The only reason why it's not an A is, well, two reasons. That's screen to distance, surface to screen distance, and that the writing latency is inconsistent. So if they fix that writing inconsistency thing, I think that it's going to feel even faster, as fast as it is, the 28 millisecond thing. And there's nothing really you can do about the surface to screen distance. That's how it is. So that's something that's present. So that's why I would rate it as a B+. But everything else is really, really exceptionally good and comfortable to use. Especially that surface is really, really nice to write on. So yeah, really, really good writing experience on the Note Air 3. Now, as far as the core performance of the device itself goes, I thought that it was also important to do those measurements, and so I did all the benchmarks that I do for other Boox devices and to see where the Note Air 3 stands. Because it does have completely new internals, new RAM, new type of RAM, new type of storage, new CPU and all that kind of stuff. So it is internally a completely new device compared to the Note Air 2 and the Note Air 2 Plus. So I also wanted to see where it stands in comparison to them and in comparison to the Note Air 3C. And not that surprising, it performs pretty much exactly the same, more or less, like the Note Air 3C, with some exceptions where actually in CPU multi-score it was performing better than the Note Air 3C, and actually this is a 2.4 GHz CPU, the one that it's supposed to have. It was performing a little bit better than the 2.8 GHz CPU that I have in my Note Air 3C. But the thing that's really most important of all is that it performs better and it scores better than the older ones, the ones that it's replacing, the Note Air 2 Plus and the Note Air 2. This is especially notable in work, real-world related scenarios. So you will definitely see a noticeable performance improvement if you're jumping from Note Air 2 or 2 Plus onto the Note Air 3. And I'm talking about general device responsiveness, install speed, uninstall speed, and just operations. Pure processing power of this one is simply higher than it is of its predecessor. And it's also really important to note that the storage speed has also improved on the Note Air 3, so your writing and reading speeds and document opening and saving and all of these things are also going to be improved when compared to the previous generation of devices. So all around, wherever you actually look at the Note Air 3 performance is better than the Note Air 2 Plus and the Note Air 2. All right, so unlike the regular videos that I do end with the conclusion with cons and pros, I'm not going to be going through all of that. I'm just going to be giving you my honest summary about the Note Air 3 as a device, and then you can, extrapolate what you want from it, from my summary here. So I think that overall, this was a confusing launch for me. Definitely was a confusing launch. And on paper, this device can be confusing and can be considered like, what's up with that, right? But the thing is, if we are looking at it as an e-ink reader note-taking device, and let's for a second exclude the BSR out of the equation, that it doesn't exist. What's actually wrong with the Note Air 3? Nothing, really. The only thing that I can think of that's wrong is that it doesn't have a 300 ppi screen. That's it. Everything else, this is actually a really, really good device. Because let's not forget, it's Note Air 3. It's a successor to the Note Air 2 and Note Air 2 Plus. And that's what it is comparing to. And the only job that it has is actually to be better and to offer new things than its predecessor had. And I honestly think that Note Air 3 measurably checks all of those boxes. Battery life, better than the Note Air 2 or the Note Air 2 Plus. Writing latency, better than the Note Air 2 than the Note Air 2 Plus. Performance, overall performance, all over the place, better than either of those two devices. Price, better than either of those two devices. Flexibility, because of the new magnetic cover and everything, better than either of those two devices. It has an SD card slot now, which is a really, really significant improvement. So all in all, I mean, yeah, I have to pose a question for a lot of people who are saying like, oh, this is just a dumb device and everything like that. It's like, oh, it's a, I don't know, it's this and that. What exactly is wrong with this one? From everything that I've measured and tested, this one just does what it's supposed to, which is offer better performance in every regard, a little bit more creature comforts, and at a lower price point, despite the inflation that we've had in the past 2 years. So yeah, I don't see the problem. Yes, it would be nicer if it had a 300 ppi screen, but that's really not a deal breaker of any kind. I mean, yes, it's a nice to have, but this one works perfectly fine as well. So yeah, that's my honest take on the Note Air 3. I didn't expect that. I have to say that I was also, because of the way how it was launched and because of the environment it's in, its brethren and sisters, its siblings and all that, it seemed out of place. But when I honestly started to use it, it didn't at all. It just was actually refreshing. I liked the monochromatic thing. I like the battery that lasts forever, that you don't really think about the battery at all. And the ghosting is not that bad at all. It just works really well. I think it's actually better than what I had on my Note Air 1 and the Note Air 2. So if you're looking for an excellent all-rounder e-ink tablet, ordinary e-ink tablet, not blisteringly fast BSR thing, there's really very, very, very little that's wrong, that you can find to be wrong with the Note Air 3, in my honest opinion. Alright, that's it from me. I hope that you found the video interesting, informative, and or useful. If you did, please like and subscribe and ding the notification bell in the description below to get notified when new videos come out on My Deep Guide. And if you do like the independence of the video, oh yeah, the notification, yeah, this unit has been sent to me by Boox, but it's a review loan unit, so now that I'm done with it, it goes back into the box and it goes shipped somewhere elsewhere to somebody else to actually check it out. So I don't get to keep it, I get to keep my own independence and my own opinion even. So if you do like the work that I do and you would like to support the independence, then head on over to the mydeepguide.com/shop, where you can find the MDO and MMP, which are both hyperlinked organizational type of files. MDO helps you organize your yearly, quarterly, monthly, weekly, daily organizing or journaling needs, and the MMP, which is the My Deep Guide meeting planner, helps you simplify, centralize, and yeah, organize all of your meeting planning needs. If any of those sound interesting to you, check out the links in the description down below for the dedicated playlist, where you'll find a ton of info, and I'm confident that you will be able to then reach, after viewing those videos, reach a decision if either of the two is the right product for you or not. Either way, thank you so much for watching, stay safe, stay healthy, and see you in the next video. Bye!